Friday, March 24th, 2017, on a very gray day. The lighting is very pale here, so welcome to my kitchen. I have woolly things to chat with you about. We have a Cal to wrap up, and I haven't even introduced myself. Okay, this is the fourth time I've tried to start this show. It's been bad. I don't know what's going on with me today, but I'm just going to plow ahead because it's never professional anyway. We've established this. So, okay, train of thought. Back. Emily. My name is Emily. Hi, everybody. Since it is rainy, my co-host Alice is absent. She is somewhere in the laundry room. She finds the washing machine as it's running very soothing, and it's dark. The lights are off. It's actually the safest room in a tornado, and here I go again saying stupid things. Anyway. Yes. If you want to find me on Ravelry, I'm Chain of Fools over there, and I'm Fibertown with an RE on Instagram, which is my social media of choice. So, today, woolly things. We have the handspun winter Cal prizes. We'll do that first. We have some FOs, works in progress, spinning, sewing, and acquisitions. Let's do this. My youngest is home from school today, and he has a friend over, and so I've told them to stay away, but we'll see. We may have little voices and little feet running in here. Okay, so the handspun winter. Thank you for participating. I really can't tell you how much that means to me that you all wanted to share and participate at all. And I picked 3 numbers randomly. And let me see. The very first one is number 145, who is in Frick. She's from Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, I think. She was the first number that was picked, and she wins something from my Etsy shop under $50 and under. So yay, congratulations. And then I have 2 patterns to award, to numbers 135 and 165, and those are respectively Dutch Girl 63 and La Mancha Mama. So here's what you guys won. And you all might want to check this out. It's a lovely brand new release from Sarah Bauer, who does the Yarns at Yin Hu podcast. She graciously offered a copy of the pattern to give away, and she'll be doing one of those, and then I will be giving the pattern to someone else. And here they are. This is not the best picture, but you get an idea of the really gorgeous design that is echoed on the mitts as well. And the hat is adorable with cords, and then pom-poms on the end, and I think it has a split brim in the back, so it sits very nicely. So I have this pattern earmarked for possibly some of my Croft 29 Hebridean yarn. I think it would be great, the mitts, and possibly the hat. Anyway, so that's Braided Berry Hat and Mitts, and Dutch Girl 63 and La Mancha Mama, you are the winners. So check out that pattern. Sarah has beautiful patterns and a truly beautiful podcast, an audio podcast, and I love it when I see that pop up in my feed. The hair again. Okay. Let's see. Oh, MMA, Miss MMA, you are the Queen City Yarn giveaway winner. So when you see this, let me know and I will get the yarn to you. So folks, let's do FOs. And again, thank you for participating in the Handspun Winter Cal. We're done with Cals for now. There will be one starting in the summer. And that's going to be the Summer of S again, which has been a great success in the past. We took last summer off because I wasn't in Spain, but this summer I will be. So it's a really fun knit along. So start thinking of what you might want to make, and of course you can quintuple dip in all of the summer make-alongs that happen. All right, so FOs, the very first one is my Boosta beanie. There it is. Oh, I love this. I wish I had remembered to start the cast on with a contrast color. But I loved making this. This is out of Shetland Heritage, all natural colors. And it's just beautiful, isn't it? It's a very thin, light fingering yarn. And in fact, I think this would be insane for a traditional hap shawl. And I know I have my friend Sarah, another Sarah, who I think has earmarked hers for that purpose. And I may have to copy her, get some more of this from the woolly thistle. So it hasn't been washed, but I steamed it, and the smell that comes off of this yarn is insanely sheepy. Even just now. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. It is a little small. It fits my son very well. It fits me all right. But yeah, that's the Boosta Beanie by Gudrun Johnston. She is the Shetland Wool Week patron for 2017. And I want to cast on another one very soon. So the second FO this week, goodness, here's one of them. Where's the other one? Here it is. These are my Rose City rollers. Ends have not been dealt with yet. But Rose City rollers are a pattern by Cara, oh gosh. Never mind. I don't remember her name. Briner? Maybe her last name? Anyway, look up Rose City rollers if you haven't heard of them. It's a free pattern. These might also go to my son. They fit me in the length in the foot. They are so small. I should have done much more of a cuff. They are low cut on my feet. Let's just say that. Here's the other one. This is mustache yarn in the sorting hat colorway. I'm having a bit of a I guess you could call it a revival, a falling in love with my Harry Potter. And rereading all the books and watching all the movies and discovering a lot of Harry Potter podcasts. Anyway, I just saw another huge Harry Potter fan come outside. The rain is letting up. My father came out of his house. He loves Harry Potter too. Okay, that's it for FOs, but let me show you one other FO that, I should have segued this when I was talking about yarns at Yahoo, because on Sarah's latest podcast, she discussed mindfulness in knitting and considering the inside of your knitting as you are making something, as a way of being more mindful about what you're making. And I think that applies to sewing as well. But I was like, I never showed the inside of my lovage sweater. I totally need to do that. And by the way, if you're going to make a Fair Isle anything, just get Jamieson and Smith 2-ply or Harrisville 2-ply. Look at that tree section. That's what those two yarns are. They just make the best color work. At any rate, I was thinking I never discussed what I did with the many, many ends that are involved in the sweater. So they run down the back shoulder seam. Maybe I did talk about it a little bit, but I thought I would show what happened. I didn't weave in the ends as I knit. I find that leaves a funny gap where the two yarns start, and I don't like it. So I just let the yarns hang because it's very sticky wool, and then when I went back at the end, I knotted them twice. I played with the stitches and how they moved. I found a good spot to knot the yarn where I liked the look of the stitches on the outside. Knotted them twice there, and sometimes I knotted, 6 or 8 strands at the same time. And they all hang down along that one seam, and they will felt over time. They'll felt together. I could have cut them much shorter, but I wanted to leave enough of a tail that that if this didn't please me, that I could do something else with them. I could weave them in more traditionally. Although I believe this is the traditional Shetland way of dealing with your ends in color work. And in fact, I didn't weave in my ends on the Boosta Beanie either. This kind of wool, it really doesn't go anywhere. You don't need to, these need to be cut, but yeah. I haven't even knotted these, and the stitches aren't moving. But yeah, that's a good reminder. I do need to deal with those. So, lovely. There's my inside. A couple of times there was a break in the yarn, and I had to, make a knot in the middle. That's where I added a new ball. And then in the arms as well. And that's the inside of the lovage. Pretty tired of that yet. I don't think I'll ever tire of the lovage. Okay, so my new works in progress. Well, I do have a brand new work in progress, but let me show you what you have seen a bit of already. This is the Camaro sweater by Tanis Lavallee. This is a pattern I bought on Ravelry. And the yoke I'm doing in natural Shetland colors. There's seriously a theme happening. And I was going to pick a ball of sock yarn to work with that was exactly these colors. I don't know what's happening with me, but I stopped myself and picked up a different one. Okay, so at any rate, this is the front of the yoke, and it's got these very pretty increases. And in fact, it has increases kind of all around the yoke, but this one brings it to a point in the front. And I'm a little worried. I tried this on. It's on 2 needles, you might see. I'm knitting these on US 5s. What are those, 3.75 millimeters, I think? And I need to knit a bit more to see how this is going to fit. I think it'll be fine. It does have just this rolled collar, just stockinette. Now, I'm striping the heck out of these yarns, and I'm not crazy. I'm doing jogless joins, but it doesn't look super good. And part of that is because, sometimes I'm only doing one row of a color. I don't think there's a way to really make it look awesome when you're doing that, but I really want that effect because I want this sort of Missoni look of random stripes of varying widths. So this is where I am down here. So yeah, the yarn I'm using is delightful and special and wonderful. This is the brown Jasmine, Shetland's 3-ply sport. This is from the Ross Farm. This is all Shetland from the Ross Farm. So we have Jasmine, who is the Morit. And then we have Cassie, who is the white. We have Shayla, who's the gray. Then the softest, most scrumptious. If you see it, don't buy it because I want to buy it all. Demetria. Demetria, you are my favorite. Just love her. I'm knitting with her right now. So that is, and I don't know what the body and the sleeves will be out of. I'm just doing the yoke right now, and we shall see. So I might get something at Maryland Sheep and Wool. We'll see. That's in my lovely fat squirrel bag. What was I going to say? I was going to tell you all something. Hold those natural colors and the dark color in mind, because we're going to talk more about that when I talk about spinning. But right now I have a new pair of socks going, and these are, I cast these on yesterday in the morning and read, I finished a book I was reading on my Kindle, and I think I read like 30% of the book yesterday and just went nuts and knit the whole body of a sock, the whole leg of a sock. And this is a first for me. I am using Crazy Zauberball. I have 2 balls of this. This is from Looped Yarn Works, one of my favorite yarn stores ever. And this is colorway 2092, otherwise known as Chocolade something, which is chocolate something, and you can tell there are some browns in here. I can't wait to get to the browns. Zauberball Crazy is funny. I'm a little nervous about knitting with a 2-ply in a sock yarn. This is wool and polyamide, 75-25. So, there's that. But I like my sock yarns to be at least a 3-ply. 4-ply is good. And it's knitting out very differently because of the 2-ply. But the plies, the way they interact is very fun. Each ply is a gradient, and one of the plies is neutral, and one of the plies is in a color, in a tone. Is that right? Like different values. So it's kind of a red, so you can go from like orange to dark red and all the shades in between. And then the neutral one goes from brown through taupes and grays and back and forth and all those shades in between. And they barber pole, and they meet up at different places at different times. So you get something like this. Now, I'm sure you all have heard of Zauberball, and this is not news to you, but I've never really analyzed a Zauberball before. It's very pretty, and I'm stretching this out because the 2-ply knits up rather pebbly, I think. Almost like from a sock blank. Really enjoying this, and I'm going to go until I get to the brown, do a little bit of the brown, then I'll do my heel flap and gusset in the brown. In the brown shades. This also feels, this is my typical 64 stitch sock, but it feels big. It feels very big. In fact, where are my other socks? I don't know. So this might be destined for my husband or someone else with bigger feet. We'll see. So that's it for works in progress. As I said, I do want to cast on another Boost beanie, so we'll see. All right, let's talk about spinning. Now, raise your hand if you've heard of the Hog Island. Are you raising your hand? You've probably, if you've been watching me for a while, I've talked about it. And when I saw at Rhinebeck that the Roths Farm had some of their very first, I think this was their very first Hog Island roving available from their new Hog Island sheepies, which are extremely rare and an endangered breed that is local to my neck of the woods. I was very excited, and my husband actually bought me some for my birthday. So I've spun it all up, and this fiber came as a gradient pack. And let me just tell you a little bit about my history with Hog Island, as well as the history of the breed itself. Although, if you raised your hand when I said, do you know about Hog Island? You're like, we've heard it, skip it. It's a sheep breed with a story. There are islands in the Chesapeake Bay, which is near the states of Maryland and Virginia in the United States. And, this was, I know there's, the Plymouth Bay colony, and then there was the Roanoke and Jamestown and all that good stuff in terms of British people colonizing and settling here. Those were the main places. And really, the Chesapeake Bay, the Jamestown, the James River comes out into the Chesapeake Bay. And so Hog Island was one of these islands. And a lot of them in the Chesapeake Bay, due to global warming and water levels rising and polar ice caps melting, have disappeared. In fact, I worked with a lady from Smith Island who had grown up on an island that is submerged now in water. Anyway, in a similar sort of weather catastrophe, the inhabitants of Hog Island had to leave because of a really terrible hurricane that kind of devastated the infrastructure, and they left their sheep behind. And what's special about these sheep and the area and the history of the colonies is that, and the nature of islands is that they stay isolated. Isolated comes from the same root as island. It's hard to get on and off. It's hard to get things on and off the island. So people tended to stay there. And in fact, there's another island in the Chesapeake Bay called, starts with a T. I'll think of it in a minute. But the people here still speak what is closest to Elizabethan English. The speech there is, the accent is incredibly close to Elizabethan English. And in fact, talking about the isolation of the place, Tangier Island. You go into the graveyard, and I've been to Tangier. It's really fascinating. There are no cars, just golf carts. Quite a bit of poverty. And if you go into the graveyard, there are, probably under 10 family names. And the graveyard goes way, way back. The accent is wild. Very different. I think PBS had a special on Tangier Island, so you may have heard of it. Wow, this is getting out of the scope of wool, but it does, come back to that in the fact that the sheep that the colonists brought had also changed very little. I don't really know if in the beginning, I'm sure they were used for wool as well as meat in the beginning. But what had happened when the people left Hog Island in the 1930s is that the sheep, it just takes a little while for a lot of domesticated animals to become feral again, and to lose some of the characteristics that people have bred them for. So the Hog Island you see now is probably, I would guess, the wool quality is not as good as it was when they were highly husbanded and bred for those traits which were sought after in wool. But this is my trio of Hog Island wool that I have spun recently. And it was not my first spinning of Hog Island. In fact, I had gotten a fleece, a Hog Island fleece, probably 4 or 5 years ago from Mount Vernon, which is George Washington's ancestral home. And they were some of the people that took the Hog Island sheep off of Hog Island. Was it the 80s or 90s? And so I got to visit with those folks. I got to go back to the pasture in the barns where the sheep were being kept. I was just given a bag of fleece. I did pay for it, but I was not allowed to sort through. And I don't think I would have known what to look for anyway. But what my experience was with that fleece was that it was a white fleece. And the sheep themselves they're small, I would say like Shetland small. And the fleece was incredibly variable. Some of the cuts, I don't think they were second cuts either. They were very short, like 1/2 inch staple length. And others were maybe 1.5 inches. But overall, a very short staple length, very varied staple length, which can mean real difficulty with the processing. So I would say that the Ross Farm White Shetland that I spun was incredibly similar to that experience. And I know that the Ross Farm, I think they got them from they had come via Mount Vernon in some way. Maybe they were the second owners of these sheep. But I spun it 3-ply, and this was I got about 120 yards. I think each of these is 1.5 ounces to 2 ounces. I didn't measure, that's just a guess. I didn't weigh them, I did check the yardage. So I spun it woolen, they were true rovings, and my Mount Vernon Hog Island was incredibly dirty. And this was slightly less dirty, but not by a ton. Now, then I did the gray. And this it's lovely and squishy, and it's spun the way I like. This had a lot of sort of neppy qualities to it because of the variation in the fleece length. I think you just can't get away from that. It's special. It is what it is for now. It hasn't been really changed and bred for the wool at this point yet. Who knows where it'll go. But I'm sure that the Ross Farm will. I already see what they're doing. Let me talk about the next colors and you'll see what is happening. And I haven't talked to Amy about this or Scooter Pie, and I don't know what's different. All I know is what I spun and what my experience with the Mount Vernon Hog Island. But here's the gray, also a 3-ply, traditional 3-ply. Really remarkable. Softer than the white. What is the word I'm looking for? A bit of a spongy quality, less crisp than this. Softer, spongier. There's almost a haze to this when you look at it. Not a halo, but like a haze. Kind of reminds me of Brooklyn tweed. Then the brown. The brown was the softest of them all. And that was my experience with the Shetland. As I got to the darker colors, they were softer. And that has been, I don't know that that's scientifically a thing. I doubt it. I think it has more to do with the micron count than anything else. But at any rate, this was the best spin of them all. The least amount of net quality. It is a bit heathered, and this is not quite the right color. It's less of a chocolate and more of a moret. but a dark one, all the same. The plies on this one are more defined, whereas here they kind of all meld together. Again, a 3-ply. The easiest, I could spin this true long draw, nothing, it was very smooth, not a lot of veg matter. This was less dirty, not a lot of, rarely a nep in there. So really interesting for me to see the different qualities in these three. And I want to knit them together into a project. I don't know what yet. But really interesting spin and gorgeous wool. And wool with a story is always more fun for me. So I'm really just thankful that people like the Ross Farm are doing what they do. So good segue into my sewing segment here. Yeah. What can I show you? Well, do you ever have some of these, like a week where things just don't quite go as you hoped or planned or thought? That's kind of my week in sewing, and a few other things too. So I have some project bags to put in my shop. I need to take some pictures and make some listings and get them up there. Yay. This is this great fabric it's floral. Some of them have birds. I think most of them have cherries. Here's another one. I have 4. They have zipper width. Look at, some of them have these really cool stitch markers that my friend Sarah made. And you can see they have felt balls. They have a handmade, these awesome felt balls. And then the top is a lava bead on which you can put essential oils. Isn't that a cool idea? So she made these great, a few of them have these. And it's on a lobster claw as well. And what you can do is just, I don't know, I love geranium oil. I find it very calming. But you can put lavender or whatever you like. And the lava bead holds it for a while, and it shouldn't really get on your fabric or project. Shouldn't be, just one drop. So these have a muslin interior. They have a strap. The ones that don't have those lava beads just have a lobster claw stitch marker with a heart. And then, let's see, here's another one. A bigger one with a yellow zipper. This has got kind of a wacky little stitch marker on there with a little cage for the felt ball. I love the yellow zipper. This one has Osnaburg muslin, which it's a really cool fabric I found out about from my friend Kimberly from Shop Teasel, who's hopefully going to update her shop as soon as possible. I know she's always got really, really interesting stuff for sale. And then this is the last one. And it's got sort of Germany colors here for a stitch marker. This is just muslin. So I was going to have about 10 of these bags for sale. And here's where things went horribly wrong. I was just trucking along, sewing my bags, and had finished doing the boxed bottoms, redo this, when I had realized that I hadn't top stitched them. Like, other than these 4, I hadn't top stitched them before doing everything else. And went through a couple ways of remedying that, trying to figure out how I could do it without unpicking everything. And really, once I had boxed the corners, that wasn't gonna fly. So yeah, so I ended up with things like trying to fix it. That's as far as I could get. So I cannot really sell those. And it was the majority of the bags I had made, so I won't be making that mistake again. It's a bit of a bummer. But I do have one hand woven bag still in the shop, and it's this guy, which is a drawstring, and also 2 kitty cat bags, which you might like. Boom. This one has the gray polka dot lining, and this one has, I love this fabric is great, big black and white polka dots. So yeah, there are some bags in the shop for you guys to peruse. If they are not up when you see this episode, they will be up shortly. And some of them will have those great stitch markers. Oh, I should tell you, I'm wearing my MPG. I need to make another one of these. This is, as a Sayonara handspun winter, this is BFL silk handspun, one of my patterns that's super cozy and comfy. And this has a lot of different ways to wear it. So acquisitions, and then I need to make lunch for 2 little boys. Well, so in my spinning of the Hog Island, and now I'm thinking back to my talking about it, I hope it wasn't too randomly explained. I didn't think I was gonna really go in depth about the whole thing, but oops, I did. In my spinning of the Hog Island, I borrowed a Lazy Kate from my friend Sarah Flonez, who made those stitch markers. She's pretty awesome. She let me borrow this because I'm thinking about buying a freestanding Lazy Kate at Maryland Sheep and Wool this year. And I have a ladybug with the onboard Lazy Kate. And that's the only Lazy Kate I'd ever used, other than something I had rigged up when I was just spinning on an Ashford traditional. That was the first wheel I tried, and I borrowed it from a friend. At any rate, that was not a great Lazy Kate, but this really is, and my plying was a lot faster. So I will definitely be getting a Lazy Kate of some variety, and I liked this one. I had heard that getting a Lazy Kate with the bobbins on an angle is a good idea. I don't know for sure. So, not really an acquisition, but I borrowed it and tried it out. I had ordered something that I had seen on a woman at Looped, on one of the ladies that works there. And I got it from, did I bring the box? I had it somewhere. From a store online called I Love Handles. I think it's a very funny name. But it's a leather measuring tape bracelet. Yeah, I Love Handles. I got the 19-inch one, just thinking, yeah, the bigger the better, without really thinking that it needed to fit my wrist. So, again, something that didn't quite go as expected this week is this. You might hear Alice knocking on the door. The rain has stopped, the sun is out, and she wants to go outside. So I think I'm going to be doing some leather surgery on this. I don't want to go through the hassle of returning it. And, you know, get a sharp enough knife and you can cut through leather. So I have a tiny wrist, and this is it doubled. It doesn't really fit me, and I can't triple it, which is a bit of a bummer. It just needs to be 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches tighter. So yeah, I'll be trying to fix that. But a lot of fun, very useful. Well, you know what? I could just, no, can't wear it as a necklace. Too small for that. The last of my acquisitions are some fabric and ribbons. And I went to Oh So Persnickety in Haymarket, Virginia. Just as my son was at a birthday party nearby, I went over there and I got this. Hopefully I can make some bags out of this and not completely mess it up. This is Les Fleurs by Rifle Paper Company. Screen printed in Japan. It's a nice sturdy-ish fabric. Really gorgeous. And then this one, it's a thinner quilting cotton. Oh So Persnickety is, if you have the chance to go there, it's a beautifully appointed store. Really, you're just happy when you're there. And she has a great selection of ribbons. They're reversible, folks. Look at isn't that amazing? Are you amazed? Are you as amazed as I am? So there's that one. I think these will make great pull tabs on bags. So cool. I just love that they're reversible. This one's cool. Gray and pink, pink and gray. Yeah, that's it. Alice, come here. Look, I have a cookie. I'm going to trick her so you guys can say hi. Come here. Oh, little mommy. There's my girl. You were so scared. We're scared. This is my Alice. She's a good dog. You've seen her collar, right? Her tag that says, "If you can read this, I will lick you." It's true. Let me see, can I read this? I got licked. I should have known better. She's a wee thing. So later we should go for a walk and we'll have to be careful of the geese though. They're getting very aggressive because they're starting to nest. So I have to take a bag with rocks in it or something. No, I wouldn't do that to the geese unless they attacked us, but yeah, it is a concern in the spring. But she likes to go down and pretend she doesn't want to eat the geese poop. Goose poop. I know a lot of dogs think that's a tasty treat. Do you like that, Alice? Oh, she's a good girl. I'm sorry I stopped this podcast. I ended talking about goose poop. That's not cool. Unless you're Alice. And then it is cool. Want to go outside in the sunshine? All right, I hope you all go outside in the sunshine this weekend and take care till next time.